So, hopefully we get there. A lot of notes. Okay. So here we go. Yesterday we discussed, if you remember, that we have this ola, the chatas ola, and the chatas and the chatas ha'of and the ola sa'of, the bird offerings that are brought. One's a chatas, one's an ola, and the rules differ. And the question was, or not question, the debate was, if you bring the ola, which is supposed to be the blood is squeezed out on top of the red string. If you do that below, and you do malika like a chatas, and you have in mind the chatas, it transforms into a chatas according to Rabbi Yeshua. So now, says the Gemara, we're on 67a, the 15 lines from the bottom, maybe 20 lines from the bottom. Does it go in the reverse? Does it go in the reverse? Chatas ha'of nami she'asa lamala k'maisa ola michimalak basimin echad timashich v'telve ola sa'of. Why don't you say the reverse? Take your chatas offering, which is supposed to be the blood is applied on the altar under the red string. Let's say you do everything on top of the red string. So, and you do it like an ola. So an ola only needs one siman. One of the tubes has to be cut through with the Kohen's nail. So can it transform into an ola sa'of? The assumption is not that way. So why not? So it says the chitem ha'chanami, maybe yeah. Just like a ola can transform into a chatas according to Rabbi Yeshua, say the other way also. Say that an ola can transform into a chatas. So maybe you'll say ein ha'chanami. That's a good idea. The problem is v'hamar Rabbi Yochanan mishum Rabbi Bana kaki yatzah shel Mishna. Rabbi Yochanan said in the name of Rabbi Bana, this is the organization of the Mishnah. Meaning the Mishnah only discussed the case of a chatas becoming an ola becoming a chatas, and it sounds like that's it. This is the Mishnah. The other case is not mentioned in the Mishnah of a chatas becoming an ola. So according to Rabbi Yochanan, he understands the Mishnah to be exactly as it's written. The other case is not going to work. So says the Gemara, "Ma'ilav kachi hatzal v'sulo." This is the Mishnah, and that's it. And there's no budging, no adding cases, no more inferences. Says the Gemara, no, not necessarily. No, kach hatzal shel kula Mishnah. It just means to say you can get out of it by saying that this is the entire Mishnah, meaning the entire Mishnah is as you have it. However, just like an ola can become a chatas can become an ola. It's not that these are the exact words and that's it. You can't add anything else. This is the Mishnah in its entirety. It's a more of a general way of understanding it, and therefore it leaves room to add in the case of a chatas becoming a ola. So potentially you could still suggest such a case. Rav Ashi argues though. Rav Ashi says that no. Why? What's the difference? Rav Ashi on Rabbi Shlomo ola sa'of she'asa lamato k'maisa chatos l'shem chatos. Our case of Rabbi Yeshua, that a ola sa'of, the bird offering, which is an ola. Now, an ola only has one, right? You only have to cut through one of the tubes, not both. So let's say you do everything below, like a chatas. And, sorry, the other way around. Okay. Yeah, sorry, an ola needs two tubes and a chatas needs one tube, sorry. So let's say you take the offering, which is designated as an ola offering, and you're going to go, and now you do malika. You cut through the back of the neck with the Kohen's nail through one tube instead of two, and you have in mind the chatas. So, says Rav Ashi, "Keivin da hichshira b'simin echad, the ha hichshir b'shnei simanim." At the end of the day, an ola needs two tubes, not one tube cut through. So if you cut one tube, so then I understand how it could transform into a chatas, because you're treating this animal like a chatas by only cutting one tube. But how do you go the other way? The other way means you're taking a chatas offering, which requires one tube, and you want to now transform it into an ola.
So they're asking, is it ma'akev or not? You need to have two or not for the.
You have to have two.
Then that's the answer. That's no good.
Let's see. So the ha'ech shira b'shnei simanim. So this one you only need one, and you did one, but the ola. You have to cut through two simanim. The ha'hichshir b'shnei simanim. So the ola sa'of lemata lesa Why? And you can't do this. You can't apply the blood under the red string. That doesn't exist. Kavan de Malakba Siman Echad. One second. Let's start again. Ravashi Rabbi Shlomo Ola Sof Shasa Lamata Kanai Sechat Tishim Chatas. Kavan the Hachshir B'Siman Echad. The Hachshir B'Shnei Simanim. The Ola Sof Lamata Lessa. So therefore, since you take the offering and you only do one tube, and you're applying everything under the red string, which does not exist by an Ola, it only exists by a Chatas. So therefore, Kavan de Malak B'Siman Echad. Since you only cut through one tube, Nimsheches V'Nasis Chatas O. That I understand, it can transform into a bird sin offering. But Ella Chatas Ha'ov, a Chatas Ha'ov, Kavan de Amar Mar. Since we learn Malika B'chol Makom Ksheira, at the end of the day for a Chatas, you can do Malika anywhere in that courtyard. So Michi Malak B'Siman Echad, as soon as you cut through one of the tubes, so now Ifsala. So Ki Hadar Malik Be'idach Siman Heichi Mimshcha V'Havi Olas O. This animal is a Chatas O. So what's going to happen? The second you cut through one of the tubes, and it sounds like you stopped. It doesn't sound like you did two at once. I don't know exactly how does the Kohen do it. He must do two at once. Yeah. So if you only did one right now, if you only did one of them, so then that's going to be an invalid Ola. If you're trying to make it into an Ola, it's going to be an invalid Ola because an Ola needs to have two tubes cut. Right. So when you go back and now want to do a second tube and transform it into an Ola, it's too late because an Ola would be invalid in such a situation. So to take
the knife halfway and then go back and do another one.
Right. So if you take an Ola, which needs two, and you go and you do one, which is good for a Chatas, that we understand. But if you take a Chatas that needs one tube and an Ola that needs two, and you only do one, and then you want to do a second one afterwards, so if you're trying to make it into an Ola, it's already an invalid Ola. So it can't go from there into a kosher Ola. That's too far of a stretch. Therefore, we remain with Rabbi Yeshua only agrees that a Ola Sa'of, the bird Ola offering, if you treat it in every way like a Chatas, that you slaughter only one tube and you sprinkle the blood and you apply the blood and you have in mind the Chatas, then it will transform into a Chatas.
So it sounds like getting the Pita right, the Malika right, is more important than whether you're above or below the line.
Sounds like that, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's basically your starting point.
Right. It's ma'akir. Whereas at the end, if you were above the line when you stood up down below,
yeah. Also the location of where you do the Ola also. Yeah. Okay. So fine. Gufa. Let's go back to what we said, and then we're going to bring our extra coffee cases. Okay. So Gufa. Omer Rabbi Brava. Omer Hayir Rabbi Yeshua. Let's go back to what we said. Rabbi Yeshua says as follows: Ola Sa'of she'asa lamata k'maisa chatas Hashem chatas came in Shabbat v'asim menachad nimsheches v'nasas chatas Sa'of. Good. So this is the statement of Rabbi Yeshua. You take a bird offering and you go down where the chatas is slaughtered, where it's malikad, and you do malika there on the chatas, only one tube instead of two, and you apply the blood and you have in mind a chatas, it goes and transforms into a chatas. Now, we are going to now take a tour into a Mishnah called Kinim. Kinim means a pair of birds, and we're going to be discussing 6 cases. Each one's going to be building on the case before it, and we only want one thing. We're going to end up wanting that Rabbi Yeshua is going to agree to the Mishnayos in Kinim. That's all we want. But to get there, we're going to go through 6 cases. So every time a lady gives birth, so she has to bring a chatas and an ola offering. And if she cannot afford to bring the animal, so then she's going to bring 2 birds, a chatas and an ola. Now, it's going to matter if she designated which one to be a chatas and an ola. It's going to matter what the Kohen did or if he messed up. And later, it's going to matter which type of bird it is. Is it going to be a turtle dove or a pigeon? So all those are going to be permutations. And let's see if we can do it. So, Tashma, Chatas Lazu, case 1. Chatas Lazu, the Ola Lazu. So, Rachel and Leah, those are our women here. Rachel and Leah, they were sitting in the hospital now. They both gave birth. They each wished each other a big mazel tov. Now what happened? They each had to bring two offerings, a chatas and a ola. Each one brought one, but they still had to bring the other. So Rachel already brought an ola. Leah already brought a chatas. So Rachel needs to bring a chatas. Leah needs to bring an ola.
That's okay. The order doesn't.
Yeah, this is the case. Rachel needed a chatas. Leah needed an ola. Fine. So what did they do? They bought a pair of birds together. Save money. So they decided to, or whatever, maybe save a trip. So they decided, let's go to the store and we're going to buy together a pair of birds. Now, they said, this bird's going to be a chatas for Rachel, and this one's going to be an ola for Leah. Yeah, and now they gave it to the Kohen. Chatas lazuva, ola lazuva. And the Kohen messed up. Why? Because one bird is supposed to be done an ola above the red line, a chatas below the red line. And yet what happened? Presumably means the malika also. Right, if they're doing a certain place. He did both of them lamala. He treated them both like an ola. So what's the halacha? Asa shtein lamala. So what would be the halacha? Mechza kasher, mechza basel. If he treated both of them like an ola, so one of them is good and one of them is no good. The ola is going to be good. So in our case, a Leah is going to be good. She needed the ola. But the chatas offering was not good.
Is it no good because it was in the wrong place? Or
Yeah.
because he had the wrong machshava?
Both. If you do the wrong place, but that was the Mishnah a few Mishnahs ago. You do it then the right place of the wrong machshava or the wrong place of the right machshava. That was the Mishnah in the beginning of the parent. But he, for all intents and purposes, he treated it like an ola, two olos, and therefore Leah, who needed an ola, is good. Rachel, no good. Fine. Mechza kasher, mechza pasol. Fine. Now, what if he did the opposite? Shtehen lamata. He treated both of them like chatas offerings. So Rachel's good, Leah's no good. Mechza kasher, mechza pasol. Fine. Now, what if he did achas lamala, achas lamata? He's not sure which is which. He took one of the two and treated like an ola, and he took the other one and treated like chatas, but he didn't say which one he did. We don't know which one was treated like an ola and which one like a chatas.
It's in a question. It has to do with one.
Right. Right. Shtein psulos. Why? Why? So you have this that comes up a lot in case of shani omer is called. You make a tliya. You can I don't know what a good word for tliya is. You assume as follows. You make the following assumption. So once again, there's a 50-50 chance that the ola was brought properly. Maybe the ola was brought on top, or maybe the chatas was brought on top. You don't know. So do you say we assume the right one was brought? Or the wrong one was brought.
That sounds like Brera. Afterwards, they each went to the right place and said, "With them, I'll let
you." Yeah. So shani omer chatas. So what do you say? The halacha is the Mishnah says. What you say is the following. I say like this: chatas karva lamala, which is invalid. The chatas was the one that was brought on top. The ola karva lamata, and the ola offering is brought below. So therefore, you don't know which is which. You assume that the invalidation is the worst case scenario. The chatas was brought above and the ola was brought below. Therefore, they're both invalid. Now, what's the problem? According to Rabbi Yeshua, why are both of them invalid? An ola that's brought like a chatas should be like a chatas. Except there's one jump that the Gemara is making, which is like, it's such a wild joke that I was bothered by it. And Tosfos asks right away, what in the world is the Havamina? What would you have thought? The Gemara assumes now like this, right? Rachel needed a chatas, Leah needed an ola. And what is the Gemara asking? That offering that was brought below. What's the problem? If it's a chatas, so then Rachel is good. And if it's an ola, but it was brought below, so if it was Leah's ola, you could treat it now like Rachel's chatas. That's the assumption of the Gemara. So either way, Rachel should be good. You don't need to have two new offerings being brought. The question which the Gemara is right away gonna reject it is, how could Leah's ola, even Rabbi Yeshua who said that an ola, if you treat it like a chatas, can transform into a chatas, but how could Leah's ola transform into Rachel's chatas?
I thought what we said now is that the carbon itself is good. but you're not used to your whole. In other words, you're not used to your kapara. Whatever you need as a kapara, you have to do again. That's what Chata is intended to accomplish. Yes, the kohen can eat the meat, whatever it is. That the thing is not like. But you wanted a kapara.
True. So psulas can eat for that.
So you'll let it.
But how do they eat the meat? I mean, we said that there's no me'ilah, but yeah. But the point is that they have not fulfilled their obligation. The right puzzle sounds more intense than that. It's not that you actually did it invalid, meaning you did a chatas, you did the wrong malika, let's say. Wrong malika, that's not good. That's going to be the first Mishnah of the pair. Which one of the invalidations is going to be really invalid, fully invalid, or only partially invalid, only require a new one? But for our purposes, we're saying, why are they both invalid? Shani Omer, Chatas Karva Lamala, the Ola Karva Lamata. Says the Gemara, but Nihinami de Ola Karva Lamata, Timash B'Davi Chatas O. What's the problem? That Ola offering, so it was brought in the wrong place, but let it work as Rachel's Chatas, and she'll fulfill her obligation. So at least Rachel should be good to go. Well, Leah is going to need a new offering. So says the Gemara right away, Rabbi Yeshua only said if one person brings an Ola offering and the Kohen treats it like a chatos, then it's going to be good. Rabbi Yeshua never said if Leah's Ola offering can count as Rachel's chatos. So right away, Tosa asks, Tema, I didn't see the answer, it's long, but I was about the same thing. How could one person's Ola become someone else's chatas? Okay, so you can't sleep tonight or you're bored on Thanksgiving, you have what to do. Yeah. So, okay, that's that.
The famous case of two people, the Kollel and two people ate them, and they said one of us owes a chatas, we don't know which one. We'll bring it together.
Right. Okay. So now that was case one. So that was the basic case. Now comes case two. Tashma. Now remember, this is all going to be here because after case number 6, Rabbi Shua is going to make a comment that we're going to need. So now, Tashma, Chatas V'Ola, V'Stuma U'Mifareshes. Okay, here we go. So, we're just building on the case. So, there are going to be 3 pairs of birds here. So, once again, Rachel needs a Chatas. Rachel needs a Chatas, and Leah needs an Ola. Now, what happened was, they brought 3, so they're going to buy 3, they're going to buy 6 birds together. 3 pairs of birds. So the first one was like the first case. Rachel said, this is going to be my chatos, and Leah said, this is going to be my ola. The second case, they just bought birds together. They didn't specify anything. They didn't specify if it's going to be a chatos ola, and they didn't specify whose is whose. Nothing. So case 2 is anonymous. We don't know anything about it. Which bird for chatos, which bird for ola, and for which person it's going to go for. Case number 3, the third pair of birds, they specified this is for a chatas and this is for an ola, but they didn't specify for who. So, yeah, so they didn't specify for who. So now, 2 women bought 3 pairs of birds. The first one they explicitly said, my chatas, my ola. Second one, totally anonymous. And the third one, they specified chatas and ola, but they didn't specify for who. So, okay. So,
each of them only needs one.
So Rachel needs a chatas, but then she also needs a chatas and an ola. Leah needs an ola, but she also needs an ola and a chatas, meaning they each need to bring their respective childbirth, and they're also bringing another pair.
They give the Kohen 6 birds.
They give 6 birds to the Kohen. Bring them.
But
they're all offerings.
They only owe 1 and 1.
Yeah, but apparently Rachel doesn't tell us exactly why. I don't think. Each one owes for their child that was just born. So each one owes a chatas and ola. Then they each owe another pair. They each owe another pair, a chatas and o, for whatever case. So Rachel owes 3 offerings. 1 for her child that was born already. She didn't bring the chatas. Leah owes for her child an ola for the child that was born, because she didn't bring the ola yet. And now they each obligate themselves for a chatas and the ola. So they each need to bring 3 birds each. That's 6 birds total. They go to the bird store, and they buy 3 pairs of birds. First one explicitly, this chatas is ola. Second one, totally anonymous. Third one, chatas and ola, but we didn't say for who. Okay? So now, comes the Kohen and messes up. So what happened? Let's say he takes all 6 birds. So remember, what do we have here? We have here 6 birds. So what happens? Asa kulam lemala. Takes all 6 birds and does them like an ola. Treats them like an ola. Now, Rachel owes 2 chatas and 1 ola. Leah owes 2 olas and 1 chatas. So the total of ola, we have 3 olas and 3 chatas that have to be brought. So, but he takes 6 of them instead of 3 and treats them like an ola. What's the halacha? Mechza kasher, mechza pasel. The 3 olas are going to count. The 3 chatas are not going to count. Next case, he takes all 6 and treats them like a chatas. Kula lamata. He goes below. Mechza kasher, mechza pasel. The 3 chatas offerings are good to go. The 3 olas are not. Now it gets exciting. Chetzion lemala v'chetzion lemata. He takes half of these and treats them like an ola, 3 olas. V'chetzion lemata. So now, Einak sheira ela stuma u'mischalekes beinehem. The only one out of the pairs that's going to be valid is pair number 2. Pair number 2 was the one that was never specified, which is which and for who. So there, those pair of birds, you could say, okay, because they were never specified. One is the chatas, one is the ola. So pair number 2 is good. The problem is, and also pair number 1 is going to be, pair number 1 is going to be good also. It's the third pair that we're not sure what to do with it, because yeah. So now the question is, on the third pair of birds that they specified, this is a chatas, this is an ola, but they didn't specify for who. Why are those invalid? Why are those birds invalid? Why are both of the birds invalid? Let the ola be a chatas, and then it's going to be good to go. So the third pair of birds, once again, Rachel and Leah, this is their third pair, and here they said it. This is for a chatas, and that's for an ola. And now we're saying that those birds, even though half of them were brought above and half were below, half ola, half chatas, the Mishnah said that the mifurashim, the one that they specified, are going to be invalid. It says, why? The amai. Mihinami de ola karva lamata timashech v'tehave chatasa'ov. Even though the ola is brought like a chatas, but according to Rabbi Yeshua, it should be considered a valid chatas offering. And then you can go like this. For whoever it is, whoever needed the chatas, right? Rachel didn't specify for who the chatas, who the ola is. So you'll say, okay, so for whoever needs a chatas, it'll be a chatas. You'll have 2 chatas offerings. One is an ola and one of them is a chatas, but you know which is which. So you'll say, okay, at least one of the chatas should be good. So all you have left is the ola. You never brought that ola offering. But at least the chatas should be good. And yet we say both are invalid. So the question is, why are they invalid? Why are they invalid? Yeah?
I think it would be helpful to know lichatchila, what you need to prescribe. Does the Kohen need to know who it's for? Does the Kohen need to know what it is? Ola or not? It sounds like you don't necessarily know these things.
Gemara Daf Beis said, "Stamas l'shma."
That's for an animal.
Yeah, you said for these animals. Look back at the first mission. There's like 12 permutations. I don't remember exactly, but I believe that you do. Look back at the Saba. I believe that you do have to.
If you don't know who the person is for, most of these cases wouldn't work.
It says chatas o shasalamata kamai sechatas. Yeah. Yeah, it says kamai sechatas l'shem ola or kamai ola l'shem chatas. It's going to be psula. They're all impossible. You have to have in mind that bird. Yeah. So once again, Rachel and Leah's first pair is good. They said chatas for Rachel, ola for Leah. He did one above, one below. That's good to go. Second pair, totally anonymous. So we'll assume that one of them was a chatas and one of them was an ola for each person. That's also fine. The third pair, where he did one above, one below, but they didn't specify for who it's good for, now we say they're both invalid. The question, why should both be invalid? One of them should be good. So now, that's the question on Rabbi Yeshua. So that Gemara says, okay, what's the big deal? The Mishnah in Kinim is not like Rabbi Yeshua. Consider, not a problem. We have machlokas before, every so often. Rabbi Yeshua says the Gemara, how can you say that? Now we're going to have, I think, 4 cases, each one building on each other. And in the end, we're going to have a statement of Rabbi Yeshua, which is going to show us that he agrees to these Mishnayos, which then we have to answer up the question. So how can you say that the Mishnayos and Kinim are not Rabbi Yeshua? So here we go. Next cases. So that was one case that was 2 cases. Now we're going to have 4 cases. A lady says, Harei alai kan im elad zachar. So if I give birth to a male, I'm going to bring a pair of birds. Now for a male, she has to bring, right, a chatas and ola. But once that male is born, she now has to bring, according to her vow, she has to bring another pair of birds. And we're going to assume those pairs of birds are going to be the same. They're going to be both ola offerings because you can't offer a chatas as a nether and a dava. You can offer an ola. So at the end of the day, what does she need to bring now? 4 birds. She has to bring 3 olas and 1 chatas. So harei alai kan in elad zachar. Yolda zachar mevia shtei kinim. She brought 2 pairs of birds. Achas lenidra, va'achas lechovasa. One for her neder, the 2 olas, and one for the chova. Now, she gave it to the Kohen, Nasan LaKohen. So, HaKohen Sarech La'asoson Shalosh Lamala Va'achas Lamata. The Kohen has to do 3 above and 1 below. You have 3 olas and 1 chatas. But what did he do? Lo asa, he didn't do that. Ela asa shtayim lamala v'shtayim lamata. He took 3 olas, and what happened? He treated them 2 like a chatas and 2 like an ola. So what do you have left? 1 ola has to be accounted for.
So we had 2 yoledim.
Right. That's what he thought. Right. He treated them 2 pairs, chatas ola, chatas ola. However, so what are you missing? You have not accounted for 1 of the olas. That has to be accounted for. Now, also shtein lamala v'shtein lamata v'lo nimlach. V'lo nimlach means he didn't consult her which is which. Which means, v'lo nimlach, for what she's bringing them. Is it for, it sounds like it's because she had 2 children. Is it a neder? He didn't consult with her. Okay, so what happens now? Ella also shtein. Ella. Yeah. So now what happens? Tzricha shetavi od preda achas v'takrivena lemala mimin echad u'mishnei minim tavi shtayim. So what does she have to do now? You have to account for 1 of the olas. So what do you do? So now it's going to depend. If the first 4 birds you brought were all the same, I think the article says type A. Let's say a pigeon. They're all 4 pigeons. Okay, so what do you lose? What are you lacking? 1 pigeon. So you bring 1 pigeon. Fine. Let's say the first 2 pairs of birds were 2 types of birds. You have 2 pigeons and 2 turtle doves. Right? You have a type A and a type B. Now, you don't know which one he brought as the so he brought, let's say, a chadas and ola on top. That's for the children, fine. But then he also brought 2 of them below. Now, one of them was an ola. It has to be brought on top, not below. But you don't know from which one did he already bring an ola, and from which kind of bird he owes an ola. So you need to bring 2 olas now. 1 as a pigeon and 1 as a turtle dove, because you don't know which one to account for. Does that make sense? So,
and all this because ola is no good if it's below the line.
Right. So in this case, let's say what the Kohen should have done, he should have brought 3 above, 1 below. Now, it came from 2 types of birds, and we don't know which birds he brought when. So instead of bringing 3 above and 1 below, he brought 2 above and 2 below. Now, one of the olas is for sure going to count as a childbirth ola. Fine. and one chatas will count as the chatas. But now, out of the other two,
and we can't say by Brera is Yoshi her Chova as a Yoletis. We don't know which.
Right.
Well, even though she brought two Olas, we can't say for sure it covered the Yoletis obligation.
Right. So
only the Chatas, the Yoletis, you can be confident.
Correct. Yeah, the Chatas. So now you need one more Ola, but the problem is, which one was invalid? Was it a turtle dove? Was it a pigeon? Which one was brought below? You don't know. You have to bring one of each. Fine. Now, case number 4. Adding on to this case, Pirsha Nidra. So here she was Pirsha Nidra. So that means that when she said, "I'm going to bring a pair of birds," when I bring my if I have to give birth to a son, I'm going to bring a pair of birds. So she now said, "I'm going to bring a pair," and she herself uttered either pigeons or turtle doves, but she doesn't know which one she uttered. She forgot. So she either owes a pair of pigeons or she owes a pair of turtle doves, but she's not sure which one she brought. Yeah. So now, once again, we need to account for one of the olas. He brought 2 above and 2 below. One ola has to be accounted for. So now, if he brought the way she said, so she only has to bring. So if he brought pigeons and she said pigeons, so then fine. So she needs to bring only one ola. If he brought pigeons, but she said a turtle dove, so then she has to bring another turtle dove. If he brought turtle doves and she said pigeons, then she got to bring a pigeon. And if she said turtle doves and he brought pigeons, or the other way around, so you're going to have to bring tzricha lahavi od shalosh freidin mimin echad. So once again, if she gave the Kohen all turtle doves or all pigeons, one species, so she's going to have to bring another 3.
Originally, she only needed.
I don't understand what is the step to the 4. If she only brings 3, she may be lacking 1. She brings 3 pigeons, and she actually says 2.
Because she's lacking one ola. One ola hasn't been accounted for, right? He brought 2 above and 2 below.
She brings 3, but 2 of this mean and 2 of one of that.
So one second. So she needs to bring one ola. The problem is we don't know which pair of olas did she vow.
She'd only have to bring 2 birds, one from this kind, one of that kind.
So let's say she gave the Kohen all the same type. She gave them, let's say, all pigeons. So he brought 2 above and 2 below. You need one ola replaced. So now, if the Kohen brought type A, so you just need to bring one more type A. But if she owes type B and she only gave the Kohen type A, then you need to bring 2 more. One is the ola, and 2 more from the other group.
One is the ola, one is the chatas.
The ola and chatas is taken care of.
Then why should you bring 2? All you need is one ola to bring one to this kind, one from that kind, to bring them both as an ola, and you're done. Where do you get 3? Oh, she's lacking 1.
She's lacking one ola. That's true.
For each of the pledges, or for one pledge? For the
total. She needs a chatas and ola for the son that was born, and she needs to bring 2 olas for her nether. So she needs 3 olas to be brought. The Kohen took 4 animals, brought instead of 3 above, 1 below, only 2 above.
She's lacking 1.
She's lacking 1.
Why can't you read it?
Okay, so she's lacking 1. So if the one first, so now if she gave the Kohen, right? If she gave the Kohen all one type of animal, so then her ola for her childbirth is good to go. The problem is the other 2 olas, were they type A or type B? If she gave the Kohen type A, so then one of the olas for the child is good. That's good. But the 2 of her nether is not good because she only gave him type A. She didn't give him type B. So she has to bring now one. She needs 1 ola plus 2 for her vow.
If you don't know which type, then she should have to bring 4. 2 from this type, 2 from that type. Otherwise, if you bring 3, you could bring only. She could still be lacking 1 because they'll bring two from this kind, one from that kind, but maybe it's the two from the other kind she still needs. Monoshach, I don't understand three.
Okay, so once again, she owes for sure 2 birds for her vow. She's not sure if they're doves or pigeons, right?
And there could be 2 of this or 2 of that.
And she gave him all one kind of bird.
But she doesn't know which kind.
Who doesn't know which kind? No, we know which kind he brought up. That we know.
Oh, that's it.
We know he brought up either type A or type B. That we know. We don't know what she owes. So if he brought type A but she owes type B, she's for sure lacking 2 birds of her nether that were never accounted for. Right. So you have to bring type A also. But one item is for sure good.
Don't know which type.
The Ola for a childbirth is good. Don't have to replace 2.
You don't know which type. Basically, pigeon or turtle.
So if
I was bringing 3 help. You're still missing 1.
can't. Why? It's not going to work because this Cohen, he for sure messed up one of the Olas, right? So now, if he brought all one type of Ola, so you just need to bring 1 more, right? And that's it. And you're good to go. If she gave turtle doves and he brought turtle doves, just need 1 more replaced because he messed up one of them.
1 more turtle.
1 more turtle dove. But the problem is, there might be 2 pigeons. So you have to bring either 1 turtle dove or 2 pigeons.
That's assuming you know about all turtle doves.
You do.
That you know.
That's how you get 3.
If you know he brought all turtle doves, then you should only have to bring pigeons. Not 3.
What if it's all turtle doves, not pigeons?
Then you're gonna need 4.
No, then you just need 1 turtle dove.
Take around. We'll talk about this later.
Yeah. So in this case, what happens? She So if the Cohen brought all of the same kind, so either, and she doesn't know which one her vow was from. So if she vowed turtle doves and the Cohen brought all turtle doves, she only needs 1. He messed up 1 Ola, just replace 1. The problem is she might need to bring 2 pigeons. So you bring 1 turtle dove because you know he brought turtle doves. So you bring 1 turtle dove and 2 pigeons, and that's 3. You go the other way also. If you brought all pigeons, so then you're missing 1 pigeon, but it could be turtle doves. So you have 2. So that's all. So that's how you get 3. However, if he brought 2 different types of animals, right? So he brought half of them were turtle doves and half of them were pigeons. So now that's how you're going to get 4 because he messed up 1 Ola, but now there's 2 different kinds over here. So you're going to have to cover all your bases. So you're going to have to bring. Ushtei minim tavi arba. You're going to have to bring 4 now. You're going to have to bring because if the Olas were from type A and he brought type A, okay, so you're lacking 1. If the Olas were from type B and he brought type B, so then you're still lacking 1. But if the Cohen brought A, but she needed B's, she needs 2 B's. If the Cohen brought B, but she needed A, you need 2 A's. So that 1 Ola you have to replenish is itself, we're not sure from which group it came from. Which one was it messed up from? Was it from the type A or type B? So he messed up one of the Olas, but you don't know which one from which group it was. Was it from, right, he brought 2 turtle doves and 2 pigeons. And he brought 2 above and 2 below. And you're not sure where did he mess up. So 1 Ola has to be replenished, but you don't know if it's a pigeon or a turtle dove Ola. And she doesn't know where her nether's from. So this way, you're going to bring 2 turtle doves and 2 pigeons. And therefore, because his 1 mess up, you have to bring 2. And you have to bring 2 more in case the Ola offerings were brought from the other bird. So here you have to bring 4. So, fines. Agreed.
I'm not sure, because for the chatas, if she needed to be lishma, that
No chatas. Forget the chatas. Chatas is good.
that is below the line with the chatas.
Chatas, yeah, that's good. Chatas is good. Just the ola. Now, okay, we'll try. At least start the next case. So now, case number 5 or 3 in this section. What happens? Kava nidra. Maybe we'll probably stop here, but just the case. Kava nidra. So what did she do over here? She said, I'm bringing 2 birds, no matter what, with my obligation ola. So I gave birth to a boy, not me. She gave birth to a boy. She has to bring a chatas and an ola. But now she's saying, I have to bring my voluntary olas with my obligatory ola. The basis, she's saying, I need to bring 3 together. It can't be separate. So now, Kava Nidra, and what happened? The Kohen, so now the Kohen, she gave the Kohen 4 animals, 4 birds. She was Kava Nidra, and she gave him 4 birds. So now, he did once, and he messed up in the 2 above and 2 below. But really, she still owes 3 olas, and only 2 of them were accounted for. But the problem is, you can't just bring 2 olas now. You have to bring 3, because that was her neder. I need to bring 1 big package. My 2 voluntary olas have to come together with my obligatory ola.
That's not a good matter.
Okay, now it's you against Rabbi Nasi. Now we'll have to take up afterwards. So
The Torah says she owes already as a yoledes this and that.
Now we can look into Keenum and see what the explanation. But that's what it says. So now, what do? Tzricha shetavi od chamesh preden lamala mimin echad umin shtayim tavi sheish. She now is going to owe 5. She has to bring 5 because the Kohen brought, right, he messed up on 1 of them. So now, if it's all 1, if he all brought all turtle doves or he brought all pigeons, so really she only owes 1. But the problem is she vowed 2 with her 1. The problem is she doesn't know which 2 is going to go with her 1. So you have to bring 1 of your olas together with your 2 voluntary offerings because it comes in a as a package of 3. The problem is you don't know which olas did she voluntarily offer. Did she offer turtle doves or did she offer pigeons? So you have to for sure bring 2 in case the Kohen only offered turtle doves and she voluntarily offered pigeons. You got to bring 2 pigeons. Now maybe she offered turtle doves, so then you got to bring 2 turtle doves. But you also have to make sure that it comes together with the ola. So therefore, you're gonna have to bring 5. If the Kohen brought 2 turtle doves and 2 pigeons, right, and we don't know which one he did, so now that original mess up of an ola has to be like before accounted for. It's either a turtle dove or a pigeon. So you have to bring both a pigeon and a turtle dove to account for the ola that he messed up. 2 turtle doves in case that was her offering, and or 2 pigeons in case that was her offering to account for all of this. I think we'll stop here.
I think this is like saying when I put on tefillin and I want to hop on my foot. Yeah.
Yasher koach.